Hello, welcome to another Ready Aim Roll video. Today we're unboxing Team Inti the Dark, the new-ish starter box for Team 2021. So, yeah, this box acts as a, I guess, new season. As much as I hate the whole, video gamey terms in board games, that is the way things are going, especially with companies like Games Workshop. But yeah, it's basically a new season with some updated rules, things like that. So where, the last, I guess, well, the starter box for this version of Kill Team included, the rule book, the campaign book, but subsequent boxes didn't have the rule book. This one does, because it's, like I say, it's a new season, it's a jumping on point, I guess. Whereas, like the other boxes between the first box, which was Octarius, and this one, subsequent boxes after this probably won't include the rulebook. In fact, I'm fairly sure the one that's up for pre-order this weekend only includes the campaign book, the terrain, and the miniatures. So if you don't have this box, you will have to get all your dice, your measuring templates and things like that yourself, which I don't agree with hugely, because the box is like 105, 110 quid for a start. I managed to get this for a lot cheaper, but yeah, I just don't agree with the way they're doing that, which is why, if you have a friendly local game store, go through them, because they're just going to be cheaper, by sometimes up to 20-25%. So you're going to be sub £100 at that point, probably around the 90 to 95, if you include, shipping, and probably that shipping is going to be free because you're spending a good amount of money. But that's neither here or there. We're here to unbox this. So yeah, I didn't expect to have this. I won this in a raffle, so I didn't expect to be having this in my collection. Not least because, I already have a lot of stuff in my pile of shame. But yeah, that, that's just one of those things. So I'm going to be cheeky and turn this box upside down, because we're going to start with the boring stuff. Because, we're all here for the minis, but there we go. It also gives you guys a chance to look at the back of the box. The sides are just orange with the logo and, some admittedly gorgeous art, but it's Warhammer art. There we go. That's the box open, and as is often the case, you get your images of the miniatures. So some Imperial Navy breaches and some Kroot, some plastic Kroot, which is really cool. I really like these guys. I'm in it more for the terrain and the breaches because they look cool. But now I've got the Kroot in my hands. I'm just like, yeah, no, they're cool. I'll keep them. But yeah, as you can see, there's plenty in this box. I have already opened it, I will say, so there is that. But yeah, let's get on with this. So obviously, you have plenty of literature to go through here. So I'll start off with the Tac Ops decks. I think they're the Tac Ops decks. They're the cards of some description, if I can get them out. No. Yeah. Does it say? It just says card deck. So they are cards of some variety or description. There we go. So it appears to be, they're quite tightly packed in there, which is in some ways a good thing. So yeah. So you've got your cards for your Tac Ops. Looks like objectives. Yeah, lots of objectives. So that's always nice. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can get this second deck. There we go. It's just new cards. They are quite tight. There we go. So yeah, they're all the same cards actually. So it just appears that the two decks have different backs on them. So it's the same logo, just different colours. So it's quite a nice two-player start actually. So you're not having to go out and get anything like this. Let's get them back in there. Actually rather tight sleeves, which in some ways is a good thing, because you don't want your cards slipping out. On the other hand, I imagine there's a lot of people who want to be looking after their paperwork and their cards, that you wouldn't, with how tight these are in this box, I guess, like you're not going to be able to sleeve these. They just you either have to have them unsleeved in this, or sleeve them and find a new home for them, which I guess is a okay compromise. You also get dice, 10 d6s. Unfortunately not in like a Ziploc bag. This has been sealed shut, so there's no sealing that up again, which is, I think, kind of a shame. Also get bases. They appear mostly to be 25s, with one, by the looks of things, 32. Yeah, I imagine that's for something. I'll move this to the side. You get your two books, as I mentioned, this being a sort of pseudo starter set. You get your core rule book and the campaign book for Into the Dark, which will include all the information for the factions that are in here, plus all the extra rules for fighting in a Space Hulk, which is one of my favourite sort of settings in 40k as a universe. I just think it's really cool. I've always been a fan of quite tight corridor, messy firefights. and that will almost certainly deliver here. You also get your game board. It's a big one, I think. I don't know. It's one of these fold out things, which I quite like because it's, you know, is it? Yeah. So it's quite a good fold out board, double sided. It's basically the same thing on either side. It's just slightly different lighting, I guess. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, that'll do it. As you can see, it's quite a good size. If I lift the camera up a bit. Yeah. I think it's a good size for Kill Team. It's also, if I can put the camera back down there, it's also a good size for Space Station Zero, which is a game that I've been reading through. I might do a what the fuck is video on that if people are interested. So yeah, this is going to be great for games like Space Station Zero. Went a bit. Is it Sean Connery? Yeah, gonna be good for Space Station Zero and Stargrave too. Also, get your nice divider here. I don't think that this divider is quite as cool looking as the Leagues of Votann one. I think it's still cool, don't get me wrong, but it's, you know, it's just a bland sort of, that's very title screen looking. You know, like you can imagine running down here would be your like start menu. But yeah, and finally, the bit that we're here for, terrain. So yeah, you get 8 sprues of these, which is mental. But yeah, you do get 8 terrain sprues, which is just great. Again, great for your Space Station Zero, Stargrave, any other types of sci-fi tabletop games, really. If I were running Starfinder in person, I'd probably even use it for that. Though, you know, so I think it would be good for dungeons, though I think actually making a sci-fi dungeon would be better. But, you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, it's quite chunky. It's really chunky, which is often the case with this stuff. With Games Workshop's terrain, I think it's made in China, whereas the infantry stuff and the main 40k minis are made in the UK, I think. Someone will likely correct me on that in the comments. But yeah, it's a thicker plastic. It's also a bit darker as well, so it's a slightly darker grey than their usual plastics. But yeah, it's good stuff. I have heard the tolerances are fucking nightmare though. So I'm probably going to do some sanding. Second sprue. So yeah, that's probably going to be my evenings for a while, sanding these down. Because yeah, I've heard that everything's really, really tight. But once you've done a bit of, you know, that side of things, I'm sure it'll be fine. Either that or it's all just hyperbole, which the internet being what it is, that's possibly half of it, because it makes a good story, doesn't it? You know, GW fucked up again. Yeah. More terrain. Like, yeah. I've seen a lot of photos of these, and they just look like they're gonna make for some really cool games. It'd also be good for, you know, the one-page rule stuff, because obviously that's basically budget Warhammer by design. So yeah, these will make for great firefight boards too. So yeah. Here's this terrain sprue, so a lot of your overhead stuff, and like barricades and line of sight blocking bits, which I always appreciate. Especially with my, you know, skirmish games, I do prefer quite dense boards. So this is the last sprue for your terrain, which finally leaves us with a lot. Oh no, it's not. Must have got a bit jumbled when I turned the board round, box round rather. But yeah, it's more of the same, more line of sight blocking stuff. So there are a couple repeat sprues, which I don't mind. Take all this out. Might as well. Ow. Okay. You also get your counters and things for the game, which will come in the, I can't remember what the box is called now. It basically includes these and the barricades and measuring gauges. So yeah. Don't know what any of it does, so I haven't properly read the rules yet. I've just read through the fluff. And obviously it's the assembly guide, always quite good with the instructions for these. So yeah, it looks like everything's on 25s except for something's on a 32 because it was in the box. Yeah, I won't dwell on that too much. It's just mildly intriguing. Yeah, anyway. Starting off, we've got the Kroot, which, yeah, they are 3 sprues. Is this the third one? Yes. That's breeches. I think moving the box around has rearranged things. But yeah, there we are. So you get three of these for your Kroot. So this will be a, you know, quite an interesting set to assemble, I imagine. I've never actually played Tau. I have one of the battle suits just because it looked cool. But beyond that, I've never really... Like, I love the aesthetic of their mechs, and I think Kroot look rad. But the main infantry, I don't really care for much. So yeah, these are going to be cool to assemble. You also get... Interestingly, you get basically 2.5 sprues for your breeches. So you get these 2 sprues. They are not repeating. So all the infantry sprues for this box are new and non-repeating, which is always cool. So you get those sprues, and you also get half a sprue, which appears to be the upgrade sprue for your sort of some of your like special operatives. So your command sprues, stuff like that. Cool stuff. And finally, you have your barricades and your measuring gauges that I mentioned earlier. Again, in that slightly chunkier feeling plastic. Let's see. Don't know if you can see that, but there's definitely a slight difference in colour. But, you know, it's nothing. It doesn't mean it's any less good quality. It just, different plastic from a different factory. Yeah. So that's Into the Dark. There we go. Yeah, I like this box. It's really, really interesting. It's going to be a ball like to assemble, especially if the tolerances are as bad as I've heard. It's going to be a interesting project to paint up. Some lots of weathering, I imagine. So that'll be an interesting task. Also, be a fun game to play as for the 3 of us in this one flat, because it's always fun to do things like that, especially with Sam looking at 40k lore wides for the last few months. Hopefully get him involved, maybe have a 3-way game. So obviously Ron's got his Necrons that you can use, and I don't know, might see what we can sort out for Sam. But yeah, that's been an unboxing for Kill Team Into the Dark. Yeah, that's about it for this one, because we're words, I'm rambling now just because I'm tired and I'm losing my voice. But yeah, coming up on the channel at some point, we will be doing more streaming, because I enjoyed the stream that I did the other week for the Leagus of Votann. Even though the GoPro froze about halfway through, I will likely just be using the main webcam for now. But yeah, I enjoyed that. It was quite nice to sit down. No one commented or entered the chat, but it was nice to sit down and do some hobbying while also rambling to the void for a bit. Hopefully next time I get to ramble to actual people who ramble back to me in chat. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this, just down here, there's going to be some things that you can click. Please click them. And if you want videos a week early, we also have a Patreon. So this will be going up early for patrons, and then obviously it'll be public for people a week later. So if you do want things early, as well as a couple extra things here and there, yeah, that's also available, and it helps us out because, surprise, living in London isn't cheap, especially when you're trying to do hobby things like this. You know, equipment, editing software, stuff like that. But yeah, whatever you do, I hope you enjoy it. Be good to each other, and yeah, catch you on the other side. See ya.